We see it too late. We should have time to map the surface. We don't. The frame locks onto Europa mid-pass, the surface already underneath, already slipping away. A white plane streaked with long red fractures rushes across the screen. Lines stretch, split, then vanish off the edge before they can be followed. The closest view lasts seconds. Then, it's gone. If this is all we get, something's already missing. The camera stabilizes. The terrain doesn't. Fractures intersect, split again, and run out of frame before their paths can settle into anything readable. There's no time to map them, no time to see where they actually lead. The surface moves faster than it can be understood. Every feature shows up incomplete. The spacecraft holds its line. The system stays steady. Data keeps streaming, clean, precise, each frame fully formed. But each frame overwrites the last. Nothing holds. A dense region of cracks fills the view. Lines bunch together, crossing at sharp angles, hinting at pressure from below. The camera tries to follow one path, just one. It slips out of frame. Gone before it resolves into anything deeper. There's no second pass. The surface doesn't wait. The camera tightens, locking onto a dense band of fractures cutting across the ice. Lines converge, then split, forming long chains that run diagonally across the surface. They aren't random. Each fracture carries direction, bending, adjusting, but never losing its path. Some widen into dark seams, others thin into narrow threads, disappear, then pick up again meters ahead, holding the same line. They carry force. A low ridge rises along one crack, lifting the ice on both sides. The edges tilt upward, like something pushed from below, then stopped. The ridge runs for a stretch, fades out, then returns farther ahead in another segment. You don't see the motion, only what it leaves behind. The spacecraft tracks along this line, holding it centered. The fracture deepens for a moment, its interior darkening, almost giving something away. Then it closes again as the angle shifts. The camera corrects, trying to stay with it. It can't hold it. The line slips out of frame. Another fracture enters from the opposite side. Same direction. It cuts across at a sharp angle, forms a junction, then keeps going as if the two were meant to connect. But nothing opens. This isn't just surface detail. The structure reacts to something it never shows. The data stays clean, every frame sharp. The fractures are mapped, measured, logged without error. But the direction they point goes nowhere visible. The system records the marks. It never reaches what made them. A narrow beam leaves the spacecraft and drives straight down into the ice. It holds its path. The signal cuts through the upper layers cleanly, forming a sharp vertical line in the scan. Bright reflections return from shallow depths, tracing thin horizontal bands that mirror the fractures above. The structure repeats below. Then the line breaks. Midway down, the return weakens. Clear bands fragment into uneven streaks, bending, sliding off direction. The vertical path is still there, but the response no longer follows it. Something interrupts the return. The system keeps going. Another pulse, then another. Each one takes the same path down. Each one comes back the same way. Strong, then distorted. Again. Data builds across passes, stacking into a layered image beneath the surface. Upper sections settle into stable geometry, clean, consistent. Lower sections don't. They dissolve into shifting patterns that refuse to stay in place. The boundary doesn't move. This isn't random noise. The depth where distortion begins lines up across readings, forming a clear transition zone, something the signal enters but never crosses cleanly. The instrument measures the depth. It can't reconstruct what's there. A full pass completes. The composite map resolves on screen. The upper ice is structured, segmented, readable. Below it, the image spreads outward, blurred, misaligned, unstable. The system hasn't failed. It returns a result every time. But the deeper it looks, the less the result agrees with itself. The signal comes back. The meaning doesn't. A small region on the ice shifts color under analysis. The camera locks onto it. A pale section of white surface takes on a faint reddish tint as the overlay intensifies. Everything around it stays flat, bright, unchanged. This narrow patch deepens just enough to stand out. It wasn't there a moment ago. Now it holds. The spacecraft passes over it once. The mark appears briefly, then slips out of frame. On the next pass, the same location comes back into view, slightly different angle. The color returns. It spreads a little along a fracture line, pushing outward in the thin streak before fading back into the surrounding ice. The edge isn't clean. It bleeds into the surface, uneven, like something laid on top, not formed inside it. It doesn't match the ice. Spectral data layers in. The region separates from the background, its composition drifting, subtle but consistent. The system isolates it, tags it, runs comparisons against everything nearby. The difference stays. This isn't just variation. The signal points to something deposited, not embedded. A residue that follows the fractures, tracing their paths, then stopping abruptly where the surface holds intact. No spillover, no continuation. The pattern repeats elsewhere. Small patches, thin streaks, always near fractures, never beyond them. The system maps each one, builds a profile, refines it with every pass. Still no source. The data suggests something moving upward. But nothing is ever seen moving. The system can mark the trace.
Everything appears clear.
It can't say where it began. The surface fills the frame one last time, sharper now. Fractures run across the ice in long, continuous paths. The colored traces sit along their edges. Beneath, the upper layers resolve into clean, segmented bands. Everything lines up. The spacecraft begins to pull away. The image contracts slowly, the cracks tightening into thinner lines, the colored regions compressing into small points that stay locked to the fractures. Nothing drifts. The system holds. The final composite map settles on screen. Surface geometry, fracture networks, shallow layers, surface residues, all aligned, matching across multiple passes. It looks complete. But the lower regions don't resolve. The radar returns still break at the same depth. The colored traces still stop at the same boundaries. The fractures still point inward without ever opening. The pattern closes in on itself. The system doesn't extend past it. This isn't missing data. The data repeats. The surface shows structure. The signal confirms layers. The traces follow the cracks. Each part agrees with the others. And still, none of them reach the same place. The system isn't getting closer to the source. It's circling it. The measurements don't fail. They converge. But what they converge on never includes what's below.